Greetings, fellow travelers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic. Welcome to 2023's first eclipse season. We've entered the portal. First things first. Charcoal, tobacco, mugwort, sulfur. Each of these that I put in my cauldron, I chose for a specific purpose, either for protection, its sacred properties, or its association with Pluto. Now, why am I talking about Pluto when this is an Aries new moon solar eclipse? Well, my friends, Pluto is squaring this new moon eclipse, and he is about to become a much bigger, much more acutely present part of our collective and individual story. But let's back up a moment. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. I'm Ananda. I'm a professional astrologer, mystic, and folk witch, and I've got many decades of experience and knowledge in my tool belt, and I love what I do. This new moon is particularly powerful for a number of reasons. One reason, this is our second Aries new moon in a row. We just had one in March. Another is that this is happening at the anaretic degree of Aries, 29 degrees. And in fact, it's only like a smidge. It's only just 10 minutes away from being a Taurus new moon. So this is a very powerful point in the zodiac. There are many black holes that exist in this realm of the zodiac. The Andromeda Galaxy is there. This new moon is conjunct the Andromeda Galaxy, our sister galaxy. So we have a lot of gravitational pull, a lot of power. And this is an intense baby. This is an intense one. So I tend to think that every new moon gives us a 6-month story. Eclipses are the same, except we will also have another Aries new moon solar eclipse in a year from now. So whatever is happening right now, it's going to be very thorough. It's an important part of our story. So this new moon is kind of like a preview of the next couple years. We will have a peak of this energy in September. So just kind of put a pin in that, kind of in the back of your mind, that there's more to this story. There's more that will be revealed, and that will happen in September. Then we will integrate this cycle and then begin the next stage of this in April of 2024. And Pluto is going to be with us the whole time. Pluto is squared this new moon solar eclipse, so we know that there are themes of power dynamics, control, and there's something that we must surrender to. And magically speaking, whenever we are required to surrender, which is quite often these days, right? It's not funny. It is kind of funny. But whenever we are asked to surrender, we also want to make sure that we are protected. So whatever practices you use for protection, whether it be wearing black, protection braids, that's something from Appalachian culture where you braid your hair and infuse it with a protective prayer or an incantation. It's usually hidden in the back underneath. Stones like black obsidian, black tourmaline, really any kind of dark stone. And don't forget to engage with your spirit team. You are never alone. You have allies that you don't even know. You have ancestors, spirit guides, elementals, your galactic family. There's no limit to how much help is available to us. Pluto, one of the tricks whenever we're dealing with Pluto is to engage with the magical and mystical. So if you do ritual, if you do magic, even folk magic is my favorite because we don't need anything. You don't need a cauldron like I just showed you. You don't need those herbs. You can just go outside and create a boundary of sticks around you and magically infuse that with your intention. And then declare that even though this circle of sticks is no longer around you in the physical, it is with you always and you are protected. There's no limit to the magic that you can access. Now is the time, though, to embrace that power, to direct your will where you want it to go. And that's the Aries part of this. So just a handful of minutes after this new moon eclipse, we will have a 7-planet asteroid astrological body stellium in Taurus. And this is quite helpful because we actually, it really, we have so much support. And I might actually get emotional talking about this. There are just certain times when things are really intense. Like it's just really intense being a human being right now. And to be able to read the patterns, to be able to see all of the assistance, all of the benevolence that is available, even when we don't realize it, it fills me with hope. I'm totally crying. I'm having this solar eclipse is totally up my butt. I am having some of the most challenging, powerful, intense transits of my life. So bear with me. Oh my gosh. The amount of help that we have. And it's in the chart. So let's look at the chart and see what I'm talking about. So here is our extremely potent Aries new moon solar eclipse right here at 29 degrees and 50 minutes of Aries. I mean, this is so borderline on the edge. We have 1 foot in the past year and a half and 1 foot in the next year and a half to 2 years. We are straddling 2 timelines at once. So in my time, Eastern Standard Time, this is happening at 12:12 a.m. April 20th. But for a lot of you, this is going to be happening on the 19th, late at night. So here we have 29 degrees of Aries, our sun-moon conjunction. And, we do have a wide conjunction with Jupiter. So this is making this bigger. Now, listen, Jupiter is considered the great benefic, but that does not mean that everything Jupiter does is enjoyable or good. Okay. He makes things bigger. So whatever we're feeling, whatever part of our story this is unraveling for us, it's big. This new moon is both a beginning and an ending at the same time. And really, beginnings and endings are kind of the same thing, no matter how you slice it. In order to have a new beginning, something has to end, and we have to make room for the new beginning. So something must be released or surrendered to. We like to think of new beginnings as like these shiny new things that are always wonderful. And that doesn't leave room for grieving what is ending, the anxiety, stress, or just sort of overwhelm that can come with that whole process. So when you hear people say it's a new beginning and you're not feeling particularly, you're not like enjoying it, doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. This is an intense process we're in. And new beginnings, especially with Pluto in the room, especially with all of this black hole gravity making this big, with Jupiter making it big. Drink your water, get your rest. Don't say the first thing that comes out of your mouth. Be kind to yourself and the ones around you, and we will get through this. So here is Pluto, really tightly squaring this, okay? Pluto is probably the most feared entity in all of astrology. And it's because he does require that we surrender. But the reason he requires our surrender is actually beautiful and quite gentle. Let me explain. The thing that Jupiter really wants us to know above all else, it's actually very simple. He wants us to remember what is truly important. Now, when I say that, when I say what is truly important, what comes to mind? In Pluto's opinion, the things that are most important are our connection with one another, our intimate relationships, our families, and the collective power that we have together with others. Pluto's entire function is about us not being alone, not being alone in the human world or in the spirit world, because he also rules the gateways to all of the other worlds where all of our invisible helpers live. So all of the ways that we avoid surrendering into those two streams of understanding, he is relentless. It's really important to him that we remember, that we understand what's really important. So he will keep at it until we do. So whatever is leaving your life right now, it's best to just let it go. You know, our ruler of Aries, Mars, is conjunct Sirius. So again, we have more help than we realize. We have galactic helpers. We have the assistance of the great mystery in the divine mothers. Venus is conjunct Aldebaran, who is the holder of the light on our path. The South Node has been hanging out, well, the nodes, both of the nodes, have been hanging out at this 4 degrees for a while, and there's a reason for that. This is the Taurus, how can I say this? Like the Taurus section of the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio. I don't think that makes sense the way that I said it, but it's a very Taurus energy. And there's, you know, the North Node is in Taurus. So we are supposed to be moving toward things that reflect our personal power, our values, being grounded and connected with nature, with healing our throat chakra, learning how to speak our truth without needing to be a jerk about it. That's sometimes a learning curve, right? So there's something very important happening right now. We're kind of being held in this place for all of these shifts to become aligned, for all of the different spirals to come together for the benefit of all. So again, I know I keep saying this is a very thorough process. The cosmos, the great mystery, is being very meticulous about this. Saturn is conjunct the royal fixed star Fomolo. We have two of the four royal fixed stars present at this time. Fomolo is one of the most benefic fixed stars we have and is associated with protection and good luck and dignity. And Saturn, who is asking us to commit to our spiritual path, to commit to a lifestyle of unconditional love and service. Can you see the themes here? Now, just minutes after the new moon eclipse is exact, the moon will enter Taurus. A few hours later, the sun will enter Taurus. And then the afternoon of the 20th, the sun will exactly square Pluto. Now, I do have a video on the sun square Pluto transit. I will put it below. But essentially, that's asking us to see something in ourselves, to admit whatever is revealed. At least, if we can't admit it to others, at least admit it to ourselves. It's like an initiation that involves a mirror. Something that we have not seen within ourselves is to be revealed. Now, that's just one part of it. There's plenty in here suggesting that power dynamics, things having to do with betrayal can also come up, because in navigational astrology, in my system, one of Pluto's functions is that he holds our wounds of betrayal. Those places within us where we allowed the most important thing to be realized, that connection to one another, and then we were betrayed. So perhaps the thing that we are seeing is where we have closed ourselves off due to trauma or trying to protect ourselves, all of which is completely understandable and natural. We're not bad when we do that. It's natural. But there comes a time when we must release that and step into a new life without all of that baggage. So in the comments or in the description below, I'm going to put an article about fixed star Fomolo, the video for the Sun-Pluto square, and anything else that I am not thinking of in this moment that would be helpful to add to our understanding of this 6-month journey. That is just the first leg of the marathon. I did want to show you, check this out. So watch here. I'm going to just kind of put time moving forward from this new moon. So an hour later, 2 hours later, three hours later, look, we have the moon, Vesta, North Node, Mercury, Uranus, Juno, and then by 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the Sun, Vesta, La Luna, North Node, Mercury, Uranus, Juno. So this is a crazy packed Taurus house. Do you know what house in your chart is ruled by Taurus? Because whatever it is, it's up for an overhaul. It's up for renewal, for rejuvenation and reconsideration. Taurus energy is fixed earth. This is probably one of, if not the most fertile energy there is. And that's because when it comes to fertility or growth, when you think of a plant, the plant must stay put. It must grow deeper roots. It must grow taller grow in two ways at once, up and down or out and down, depending on the plant. But it can't be, if you pick it up and move it, it then has to start all over. So being fixed earth, it's very fertile. This is like wealth energy. And I mean that in all the different types of wealth. Now, something to remember too is that Mercury is about to go retrograde, and this is a good thing. I love Mercury retrograde all the time, but this Mercury retrograde is particularly helpful because it gives us time to figure out what we're doing. Whatever this eclipse has for us, we actually have a buffer time. I love Mercury retrograde because I just refuse to make any major decisions. I mean, there's something so freeing to be like, I don't have to worry about that right now. I just get to consider it. I get to chew, mull it around or chew on it, as we say here in the mountains, just think about it. But we don't have to figure it all out right this hot second. And I love that. So, little side note though, if Mercury is stationing retrograde, basically conjunct Uranus. So this is a lot of electricity. Back up your electronics, your data, back things up, do whatever you need to do to protect your stuff from like electrical surges, because this is highly electrifying, literally and metaphorically, and also to our physical bodies. So make sure you're taking your minerals and you're well hydrated, because this is zippy. This Mercury retrograde is gonna be zippy. I did do a video on the 3 stages of Mercury retrograde. Actually, by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to have a whole library for you in the description box. So check those things out. So before we close, the Andromeda Galaxy, in which this new moon is conjunct, the mythology around this is connected with Medusa, with Cassiopeia, with Perseus and Poseidon as the grapist of Medusa. And without getting all into the myth, which I've done many, many, many times on this channel, it comes up a lot, this myth, astrologically. But the primary themes are being swept into the fate streams of other people, to being kind of helpless with what's happening. And there are times that we can't do anything about what is happening. That's important to know. And that requires surrender. And in that surrender, if we're able to just remember that we don't yet have the full story, we don't yet know the purpose of what's happening. So from the death of Medusa, Pegasus was born. And Pegasus represents freedom, exuberance, hope, healing, and magic. So there's always more to the story. And also, it's good to remember that we don't necessarily have to sacrifice ourselves in order for that magic to happen. So if you have pulled people into your fate streams, let's release them unless it is for their highest and best, most benevolent life experience. And if we are caught up in the fate streams of others, let's release ourselves from that for those same reasons and with those same intentions. A beginning and an ending, a surrender and a self-empowerment, and a brand new path that we don't yet have all the information about. So do some magic, some energetic protection. Stay hydrated, my friends. Come see me for a reading if you need help or guidance, and I will see you very soon.